I've come to learn that the European Union is unique in history and had been a very powerful answer to what has happened before in the age of nation states and chauvinistic comparison and even war against each other, and the aim of certain nation states trying to dominate and to establish hierarchies and whatever. So the idea that came into being during the early 1950s with Jean Monnet and Robert Schuman and Konrad Adenauer as being their spiritual inventors, that was kind of new in history. It has been thought about that before, but it was a very clever idea to combine economical interest first and to get them interwoven to an extent that that countries would be unable to wage war against each other because they would be too interwoven, too much interwoven, and every war would be detrimental to whatever nation state being involved. So that was the initial idea, and it spread to not just different countries with Great Britain and Portugal and Spain and Greece becoming a member too, but also as an idea. It was very dynamic, but nobody ever has formulated a final idea for the European Union. So I'm very much in favor of the idea of the European Union and methods of openly discussing what might be our future, what might be our shared interest, what might be our position as a combined economy, and should it be extended to a social union or to a union with respect to foreign policy, or with respect to a common government. So this is an interesting project going on, and of course it's not always very attractive. It costs a lot of money. But this is far better than waging wars. In the end, a lot of European countries fiercely wanted to join.
What is your opinion about the European Union? Do you see it as a powerful and stable economy?
So at the moment, the stability is limited. I mean, we have huge political questions, and I don't have to mention them, starting with the Brexit, which is the most urgent one. And if you look at the economic situation, it is not entirely stable either. First of all, because the Brexit, if it happens or if it doesn't happen, it will have fundamental economic consequences, but also because many of the European states are seeing a slowing down of growth rates, Germany being the first country. So that in a general world economic situation where there's no sign of stability whatsoever makes me rather worried, and I wouldn't bet on continuing wealth in the next decades.
It's a positive thing for Germany to be a part of the European Union?
Yes, that is clearly a positive thing, not only because Germany has really profited from the European Union economically. Germany or France or whichever country, Italy, Spain, Poland, Hungary, none of these countries could play a role on the global scene on its own. It's just impossible. And uniting and creating something of a critical mass also in balance with great nations and powers such as the United States or China or India. Also, we have, of course, in Europe, wonderful things that we should defend. I mean, the European welfare state is a great accomplishment. We have seen it falter, we've seen it weaken, but it is still in a global setting something quite exceptional, and I think it's absolutely worth to fight for it. So the important thing is that we don't stop struggling for liberty and equality and these high values in our own societies. Even the European Union has, of course, a number of deficits in that respect. The European Union itself has a limited degree of democracy. It is actually a system where governments are uniting and are coming to conclusions. Of course, there's the European Parliament, but the representation is not direct. So I think we can be a model, become a model, maybe stay a model and an orientation for other countries in the world if we keep on struggling for true democracy in our countries and in the European Union. I see the European Union and Germany at a pivoting point where if we want to keep up the same level of freedom, of equality, of social peace and of wealth, we have to make huge efforts. And it's only if we are able to turn the situation around, we will be able to maybe convince others that it's a good thing.
What do you think about the European Union? Do you think it's a good idea for Germany to be part of the European Union, or to be a strong European Union?
It's good that the European countries work together. They have an open space for make trade. Yeah, that's very good. But I think it's very important for every country to have a national identity. They put the European identity more in the forward to the national identity, and I think it's a wrong way. Every nation must root it in their own culture, the traditional culture. It's so important to have our own identity. And
do you think Germany has a German identity then?
From the politicians, they can unterstützen. They can more support the young people to find a way back to the German traditional. After the Second World War, it's very
Germany. The German tradition was killed. Yeah.
Every traditional culture was connected with Nazi, with nationalism, and what the traditional culture of Germany is more older than nationalism.
Yeah. But that's not true in France or England or Italy. They didn't cut off their national.
Yeah, but the European Union works on the roots in other countries too.
Yeah.
It's more important to be a European than a
You don't agree with that?
I don't think it's not a right. At first, I must be a German, and at second, I've been a European, and not on the other way.
Not the other way around.